Car companies have produced many incredible vehicles to be driven on the open road, but sometimes these vehicles don't quite meet the bar, according to US regulations and other reasons. Today on Top Tier Motors, we'll be covering the top 10 cars that are banned in the US. The DeLorean DMC-12, immortalized by its role as the time machine in the Back to the Future movies, faced a turbulent journey in the real world, particularly concerning its availability in the United States. While the DeLorean's stainless steel exterior and gull-wing doors captivated enthusiasts, its production run was short-lived due to financial troubles and subsequent legal issues. One of the main reasons the DeLorean DMC-12 faced a ban in the US was its failure to comply with safety and emission standards. When it was originally produced in the early 1980s, the DeLorean struggled to meet the stringent regulations set by the Environmental Protection Agency and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Additionally, the company's bankruptcy in 1982 halted production, limiting the number of vehicles available for sale. Despite its iconic status and cult following, the DeLorean DMC-12's production woes and regulatory non-compliance ultimately led to its ban in the US market. However, enthusiasts and collectors continue to cherish the few remaining DeLoreans, often importing them from other countries or purchasing from existing stocks, keeping the dream of owning a piece of automotive history alive. The Nissan Skyline GT-R R32, revered for its performance capabilities and dominating presence in motorsports, faced a roadblock when entering the US market. Despite being highly sought after by enthusiasts, the R32 model encountered regulatory hurdles that prevented its official importation and sale in the United States. Because the Skyline GT-R R32 could not meet US safety and pollution regulations, this was one of the main causes of the prohibition. The car was made for the Japanese market. Still, it didn't meet the strict regulations that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Environmental Protection Agency required for cars sold in the United States. It was decided that the R32 model could not be imported or sold within the nation due to the disparity in safety and emissions laws. The vehicle's permission for importation was further hindered by concerns expressed over its performance capabilities and potential for illicit street racing. Notwithstanding the prohibition, American enthusiasts for the Nissan Skyline GT-R R32 have grown to love the vehicle. These enthusiasts frequently look for other ways to get and customize these legendary Japanese sports vehicles. While subsequent generations of the Skyline GT-R have been made available in the US, the R32 remains a symbol of automotive performance and exclusivity cherished by enthusiasts worldwide. Due to legal issues, the Land Rover Defender, which was formerly known for its tough off-road ability and classic styling, was outlawed in the United States. Even though the Defender was well-liked in other regions of the world, it had trouble adhering to the safety and emissions regulations needed to be marketed in the United States. One of the main reasons for the ban was concerns regarding the vehicle's design and construction. While the Land Rover Defender excelled in traversing challenging terrain, its boxy shape and minimal safety features raised red flags among US regulators. The vehicle's lack of modern safety equipment, such as airbags and electronic stability control, did not meet the stringent requirements of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for vehicles sold in the US. For the Land Rover Defender, pollution restrictions presented yet another challenge. The vehicle's diesel engines, which were well liked in foreign markets, had trouble adhering to the more stringent emissions regulations set by the US Environmental Protection Agency. Because of this, American aficionados who cherished the Defender's rough character had to bid adieu to the vehicle when Land Rover discontinued selling it in the United States in 1997. The 2002 Morgan Le Mans 62 prototype, a unique and limited production sports car, faced regulatory barriers that prevented its entry into the US market. With its retro-inspired design and classic styling cues, the Le Mans 62 prototype captured the attention of automotive enthusiasts worldwide. However, despite its appeal, the car encountered challenges in meeting the safety and emission standards required for vehicles sold in the United States. The Morgan Le Mans 62 prototype's non-compliance with US safety requirements was one of the main causes of the ban. Although the car's retro-inspired design was visually appealing, it did not have the contemporary safety features that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration required. This contained specifications for occupant protection, crashworthiness, and other safety features meant to keep passengers safe in the case of an accident. A further challenge for the Morgan Le Mans 62 prototype was pollution rules. Even though the car's engine produced amazing performance, it had trouble adhering to the stringent emissions regulations set by the US Environmental Protection Agency. Morgan thus failed to get the required authorizations for the Le Mans 62 prototype sale or import into the American market. Despite its banishment from American roads, the Morgan Le Mans 62 prototype remains a coveted collector's item for enthusiasts who appreciate its vintage charm and limited production numbers. Despite being well known for its remarkable capabilities and legendary standing in the automobile industry, the 1994 Toyota Supra RZ was unable to be officially imported and sold in the United States due to regulatory obstacles. Though a great favorite among fans, the Supra RZ had trouble adhering to the strict safety and emissions regulations needed for cars sold in the United States. One of the main reasons for the ban was the Supra RZ's non-compliance with US emissions regulations. The car's powerful 2JZ GTE engine, while delivering exhilarating performance, struggled to meet the strict emissions standards enforced by the Environmental Protection Agency. This discrepancy in emissions control technology and regulations between Japan and the US posed a significant barrier to the Supra RZ's entry into the American market. Additionally, concerns were raised about the vehicle's safety features and crashworthiness. While the Supra RZ boasted impressive performance capabilities, it lacked certain safety features required by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for vehicles sold in the US. These safety deficiencies further complicated the approval process for the Supra RZ's importation and sale in the United States. The 2005 Lotus Elise Series 2, acclaimed for its lightweight construction and exceptional handling, faced regulatory challenges that hindered its availability in the United States. Despite its reputation as a driver's car, the Elise Series 2 encountered hurdles in meeting certain safety requirements mandated for vehicles sold in the US market. The Elise Series 2's failure to adhere to specific safety requirements was one of the main causes of the prohibition. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration determined that certain safety elements were required for cars sold in the United States, even if the car's agility and performance were exceptional. These comprised crashworthiness standards, occupant protection measures, and additional safety precautions meant to improve occupant safety in the case of an accident. Concerns were also expressed over the car's lack of comfort and limited usefulness. Although driving aficionados found the Lotus Elise Series 2's simple appearance appealing, it did not fit the tastes of the larger American market, which frequently placed a higher value on comfort and convenience amenities in sports cars. The high-performance luxury wagon, the 2010 Audi RS6 Avant, was not allowed to enter the US market due to regulatory barriers. The RS6 Avant was known for its ability to blend lightning-fast speed and sensible design, but it had trouble adhering to the strict emission standards needed to be marketed in the United States. The RS6 Avant was prohibited, mostly because of its non-compliance with US emissions regulations. Even while the car's strong V10 engine produced thrilling performance, it had trouble adhering to the Environmental Protection Agency's strict emissions regulations. The RS6 Avant's introduction into the American market was severely hampered by the differences in emissions control technology and laws between Europe and the United States. Additionally, concerns were raised about the limited demand for high-performance wagons in the US market. Despite the RS6 Avant's appeal to enthusiasts, wagons traditionally have a smaller market share compared to SUVs and sedans in the United States. This limited market potential, coupled with emissions compliance issues, contributed to Audi's decision not to import the RS6 Avant to the US, disappointing enthusiasts who coveted its blend of performance and versatility. The 1995 Porsche 911 GT2, a track-focused variant of the iconic 911, encountered regulatory hurdles that led to its exclusion from the United States market. Despite its renowned performance and racing pedigree, the GT2 faced challenges in meeting safety and emission standards required for vehicles sold in the US. One of the primary reasons for the ban was the GT2's non-compliance with US safety regulations. The car's stripped-down interior and track-oriented features did not meet certain safety requirements mandated by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for vehicles sold in the United States. These safety deficiencies, including the absence of airbags and other safety features, prevented the GT2 from being approved for importation and sale. Regulations about emissions also presented a challenge for the Porsche 911 GT2. Even though the car's high-performance engine produced thrilling power, it had trouble adhering to the stringent emissions regulations set by the US Environmental Protection Agency. Porsche finally decided not to sell the GT2 in the US market after finding it difficult to modify the engine of the GT2 to meet emissions requirements in the US without sacrificing performance. Despite its banishment from US shores, the Porsche 911 GT2 remains highly coveted by enthusiasts and collectors for its raw driving experience and track-focused performance, with imported examples occasionally making appearances at automotive events and private collections across the country. The 2019 Volkswagen ID.3, an all-electric compact car with advanced features, faced delays in its entry into the United States market due to regulatory hurdles. Despite being highly anticipated for its eco-friendly design and innovative technology, the ID.3 encountered challenges in meeting certain safety and emission standards required for vehicles sold in the US. Delays were mostly caused by the ID.3, requiring considerable testing and changes to comply with US safety laws. To meet the strict standards imposed by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for cars sold in the United States, the car's features and design had to be modified. Concerns were also expressed on how well the ID.3 performed in crash tests and if it could adhere to US market-specific safety regulations. Furthermore, emissions regulations posed another obstacle for the Volkswagen ID.3. While the car's all-electric powertrain inherently produced zero tailpipe emissions, it still needed to meet certain emission standards and regulatory requirements enforced by the Environmental Protection Agency in the United States. These regulatory hurdles and testing procedures contributed to the delay in the ID.3's introduction into the American market, disappointing eco-conscious consumers eagerly awaiting its arrival. Regulators blocked the 1993 Jaguar XJ220, a supercar known for its record-breaking peak speed and eye-catching appearance, from being officially introduced into the US. Despite receiving high praise and being well-liked by auto fans all around the world, the XJ220 had trouble adhering to the safety and emissions regulations needed for cars to be marketed in the United States. An important factor in the prohibition was the XJ220